You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, firefighters turn out to battle a Tuesday morning blaze in a Joplin neighborhood.
And a semi-truck overturns near the Kansas-Missouri border and dumps a trailer full of grain.
And we are taking a look at some showers and thunderstorms across the area. We'll talk about our severe threat, what it's looking like, and what the rest of the day holds coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach.
And we're beginning with our severe weather coverage this morning, but we've got some good news. So far, no watches, no warnings. And we have seen some stronger storms in parts of northeast Oklahoma, so they're moving off into southwest Missouri. But the good news again is we haven't seen any severe weather alerts at this point. We are seeing some lightning out there though, and some pretty heavy rainfall with some of these storms. And there's still the remote possibility a couple of these might try and kick it up a notch and get into that strong to low grade severe range. But our overall severe threat is starting to wind down, and that's good news for those of you who do not like severe weather. We're looking at a pretty decent morning. Thunderstorms for sure, but we're not looking at that much in terms of severe weather. We do have wind advisories, northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas through 6 this evening. What's changed since this morning is the severe threat itself has really been shifted off to our southeast. Now, some of us are still in that very low-grade tornado risk, and a few of us are still in that damaging wind threat in a medium risk. But overall, the severe threat is shifting off to the southeast as we just are not getting, these storms are just not intensifying across the region this morning. We will still have showers and thunderstorms across the area through the morning hours, and again, a couple of those might try and go onto the strong side, but otherwise just some general thunderstorms persisting through the noon hour. As you can see, the majority of any thunderstorm activity by noon on the Missouri side, and that starts to kick out of here pretty quickly, leaving us with just a few showers by 2, and by 4, we're looking at partly cloudy skies and pretty decent temperatures, but still a bit on the breezy side. So here's what we're looking at in terms of rainfall totals. A little bit less now. We're looking at 1/10 of an inch still to 1/4 of an inch in southeast Kansas, and roughly a 1/2 inch to maybe an inch of rain for those of us in southwest Missouri, parts of northeast Oklahoma. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. We've caught a few lightning flashes out there this morning. Nothing happening at this moment. Lightning knows when it's on camera. We've talked about this before. Same at 7th in range line. We've got some lightning flashes. It's not going to happen while this camera's up, though. We're at 65 in Joplin still. South breeze at 13, gusting to 24 across the region. Still mild temperatures, but you can see the colder weather off to our northwest. 64 Yates Center, Iola, Miami, 65 Neosho, and 65 in Carthage as well. Going through the morning, we'll still have those showers, thunderstorms, maybe some gusty winds out there as well. Temperatures into the lower 60s. Our highs today, we've reached them early this morning. From here, we'll be in the upper 50s, lower 60s. Activity clears out by 2, partly cloudy, breezy by 4, winds calming down this evening, partly cloudy to mostly clear skies, and we'll all eventually make it down into the 30s for our overnight lows tonight. We'll keep an eye on the storms in case any of them get a little rowdy, but for now, Tanya, we're going to send it back to you.
Authorities respond to an apartment fire in the Northern Heights neighborhood of Joplin just before 7 a.m. Tuesday morning. The Joplin Fire Department, Joplin Police Department, and Met's ambulance responded to reports of a structure fire. Authorities reported seeing visible smoke. No one was inside the apartment. The cause of the fire is under investigation. A tractor trailer hauling grain overturns near the Missouri-Kansas state line just before 7 a.m. Tuesday morning. Authorities received reports of a crash involving the tractor trailer along Missouri 171 near Redbud Road. Asbury Fire Department, Jasper County Sheriff's deputies, and Met's ambulance responded. Highway Patrol was also notified. Troopers say a southbound semi traveled into oncoming traffic, clipped a pickup truck, crashed on the east side of the road, and overturned. The grain it was hauling spilled out into the field. Joplin Gun Shop is seeing an increase in gun sales and firearm classes. KOAM's Shagun Bamadali spoke to a Joplin Gun Shop and has more.
Joplin Center Fire is seeing a surge in the number of people visiting the store, which has resulted in a significant increase in sales. The store owner attributes the increase in sales to rising crime rates.
It seems like the drug trafficking through the area has increased in the last few years. Along with that's come the crime that follows that, because with the sales along with that here has come an increase in personal protection training that we've seen in the last year or two, more than we've seen in the last 5 years we've been open.
Tyler says there is some panic among gun buyers.
Is there panic right now within the gun owner community about government overreach? Yes. Is there always panic within small communities about violent crime and how to protect yourself? Yes. As of recently, though, the behavior of the consumer wanting to educate themselves how to deal with that, purchase the tool to help themselves deal with that, and educate themselves how to deal with that, I think, yes, there has been an increase in that.
A local community member who is a first-time gun owner and also taking firearm classes cites that safety is a top priority for her.
And yes, there are people out there I worry about hurting me. So, and then the hardest part is the unknown, the people you don't know. And I've noticed the homeless population's growing, which means there's people that are desperate. And I do move about all by myself. That makes me a target, and I just want to protect myself.
I think also people are starting to realize that they're more responsible for their own personal safety. It would be nice if the police were on every block, but they're not. So I think people are taking a little more responsibility on their own to provide for their own safety.
Reporting in Joplin, Shagun Bamdele, KOAM News.
According to the FBI, in Missouri, background checks skyrocketed from more than 36,000 in 2019 to over 40,000 as of January of 2023. Southwest Missouri organization is trying to make sure everyone in the community has access to fresh produce. The 100 Women Who Care chapter of Jasper and Newton counties donated $3,600 to the Webb City Farmers Market WIC program. That program helps provide fresh fruits and vegetables to families in need.
Well, basically the way it works is we have to have enough money available in order to issue a certain number of vouchers, or to issue any vouchers. And if that pool of money runs out, we have to stop issuing those vouchers. And in at least 5 years, we haven't had to stop issuing vouchers. We've been able to bring in enough funds to keep it going.
Webb City Farmers Market is open on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon. Up next, tending to a child with a fever can be a scary time for parents, but we've got some advice from the experts that may ease a troubled mind.
And we're continuing to track showers and thunderstorms moving across the area this morning. We'll have the latest coming up.
In Health Watch this morning, middle-aged workers who tend to earn low wages have a higher mortality risk. That's according to a study published in the medical journal JAMA. Researchers tracked employment and health metrics for about 4,000 workers in the U.S. for a 12-year period. All the participants were at least 50 years old when the study began, and in their 60s at the end of the study. Workers with a sustained history of low wages were 38% more likely to die over the course of 12 years than those who never experienced low wage earning. Low wages are considered annual income below the poverty line for a family of 4. Mortality risk was more than twice as high for workers with unstable employment and sustained low wages. More than 1 in 5 kids and adolescents around the world show signs of disordered eating. That's according to a new study published Monday in the journal JAMA Pediatrics. Experts say disordered eating is similar in behavior to an eating disorder. It can include strict food rules around how much a person eats, what they are eating, and how much they're exercising in relation to their food. Researchers reviewed and analyzed 32 studies from 16 countries and found 22% of children and adolescents showed disordered eating behaviors. Those numbers were higher among girls, older adolescents, and those with a higher body mass index, or BMI. Many parents quickly turn to fever-reducing medication at the first sign of a fever, but pediatricians are warning that may not be the best course. Mandy Gaither has more on what to do when your child gets a fever.
You want them to feel better, so when your child's forehead is hot, you may instantly turn to fever-reducing medications. But pediatricians say this may delay diagnosis of what's causing the fever.
Treat your child and not the number on the thermometer. So if your child is running around and playing, they have a fever, they might not play as long or as hard, but they're still looking pretty good. They're eating and drinking okay. Don't worry about the number.
Pediatrician Maureen Amon with Cleveland Clinic says if your child is lethargic, in pain, acting sick, or not eating and drinking, then it's time to treat the fever.
The Tylenol and the Motrin help cover the symptoms. They help your child feel better while they're fighting off an illness, a virus or something, but it does not make them get better faster.
Pediatricians say another concern with unnecessary usage is that there's a greater chance of giving too much medicine, especially if used along with cough and cold combination medication. Amon says doctors also want to know how long your child's fever has lasted.
Every time, if you reach for the bottle of medication, then we'd be less likely to know if your child is getting worse.
When there's a low-grade fever below 100.4 degrees, Amon says the best thing you can do is make sure your child doesn't get dehydrated. If they won't take a cup or bottle, you can give them water or diluted electrolyte fluids in a medicine syringe.
That is going to be more beneficial for them than even giving them a medication.
Pediatrician says if your child gets a fever and is 2 months or younger or isn't up to date on routine vaccinations, or even if you're just worried, talk to your child's doctor.
Well, we are continuing to watch showers and thunderstorms across the area. The good news is we're seeing our severe threat wind down pretty significantly. We just have not had the intensification with these thunderstorms as was originally anticipated as they were rolling in out of Oklahoma. We still have had some strong storms out there, some stronger storms, and we've had some lightning across the region. We've got some pretty heavy rainfall across the area as well. But the good news is, again, we're not seeing any severe weather at this point. No watches, no warnings, just some good old-fashioned thunderstorms out there. Now, there's still the remote possibility we could see a stronger storm or two as the morning progresses, but the overall severe threat appears to be kind of winding down for us. And we do have wind advisories, northeast Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas through 6 this evening, as it's going to be windy. So taking a look, this was updated this morning. As you can see, a good chunk of the area now out of the severe risk. We still have a low-end tornado risk for parts of the southeastern corner of our viewing area. The hail threat has been all but removed here, and we're still got a medium risk for some wind damage threat, again, across the extreme southeastern corners of our viewing area, and maybe some wind threat across some other parts of southwest Missouri into northeast Oklahoma. But again, the overall severe risk seems to really be winding down. Now, that doesn't mean we're done with showers and thunderstorms across the area. We'll continue to see them throughout the morning. We're still expected to see showers and maybe a few more thunderstorms by the noon hour, especially on the Missouri side of things. But once we head into the early afternoon hours, we're going to start to see this wind down. We'll have a few spotty showers out there. By the time we reach about 4 o'clock, we're looking at partly cloudy skies and relatively decent temperatures across the area as well. There's still some temperature changes on the way, big cool down coming, and these aren't our only rain chances. We're going to take a complete look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. And we've still got some showers and thunderstorms rolling across the area. As we mentioned earlier, the good news is our overall severe threat is all but gone at this point. We just did not get enough oomph out of these storms. They just did not have enough to really intensify as was originally expected as they rolled into the area this morning. So that's some good news for folks that do not enjoy that severe weather. We're not really looking at that right now. We still have these thunderstorms across the area, still getting some lightning, and we've seen a fair amount of cloud-to-cloud lightning from our cameras in the Joplin metro area. But otherwise, we're just looking at some heavier rain and some decent thunderstorms out there, but nothing strong or severe. Right now, really, the only alerts that we have are the wind advisories in northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. We've been talking about those. They run until 6 this evening because, again, today it's going to be windy. We took a look at the threats. You can see parts of our the southeastern corner of our viewing area, still a low-end tornado threat as we head through the morning. The hail threat all but gone across the region, and we're still looking at a medium risk for some strong damaging winds across the southeastern portion of our area as well. But again, overall, the severe threat has really begun to wind down for us. Now, that's not to say we're done with showers and thunderstorms. We'll still see them as we go through the morning hours and into the noon hour as well. We could see a few additional thunderstorms, especially on the Missouri side of things. And then after that, we're stuck with a few stray showers out there by 2. And as we head into the later afternoon, early evening, Yeah, partly cloudy skies and for the most part, pretty decent temperatures across the area. Here's what we're still looking at in terms of rainfall, roughly 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch across most of southeast Kansas and maybe 1/2 inch to an inch in parts of southwest Missouri. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line, raining in Joplin. As mentioned, we've seen some lightning out there, but nothing too crazy. Same at 7th in range line and obviously still raining there. Got some thunderstorms in the area. 65, south breeze at 13, gusting to 25. So again, a blustery day for us as we'll see those winds continue to gust through the majority of today. Still got mild temperatures though. Look at this, 67 Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Parsons, Chanute, 65 Chatopa, 64 Miami, and 65 Neosho, Carthage, and Lamar this morning. We are hitting our highs now. And then it's going to start to be a little cooler, but not by much, though. We got the showers, thunderstorms, gusty winds through the morning, temperatures in the low 60s, upper 50s. Again, our highs happening now will start to be partly to mostly cloudy once we head into the afternoon hours, and still, again, into the lower 60s. As we head into this evening, the cold air starts to move in from the northwest. So our friends in, say, Yates Center, Neodesha, Iola, Chanute, probably going to be cooler than this at this same time than the rest of us. But we all will eventually get down to 35 under mostly clear skies, so temperatures definitely cooling down. Now let's take a look at the next few days, because as I mentioned earlier, these rain chances are not our only shower and thunderstorm chances that we have. Now tomorrow we got sunny skies, calmer winds, we're much colder, 44 for the high, down to 25 for the low. Then we'll start to gradually warm up as we head into Sunday. We're also watching evening shower chances Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We've been talking about Sunday. We'll keep an eye on it for you. There's a severe risk out in central Kansas and central Oklahoma. These storms could hold on as they move into our area. Now, they should not be severe by the time they get here, late Sunday into early Monday morning, but we'll keep an eye on it for you. But otherwise, some morning thunderstorms Monday, 56. Pretty decent day Tuesday at 62. More showers by the time we head into the middle and end of next week. Looking at 67 Wednesday. Then we start to get cold again. 35 for the low, 48 Thursday, more showers. And then we're even cooler Friday, only 40. We could see some light showers and maybe a light wintry mix. So plenty of rain chances over the next several days. And of course, we'll watch Sunday night into Monday morning for you. We're back with more right after this. Well, more than a dozen goats and sheep ran wild in Glendale, Arizona.
Lindsay Ragas has more from one local business manager who saw it all unfold.
It was just an exciting day. A little spice to getting our restaurant open.
Right next to Freddy's Frozen Custard in Glendale is an empty lot usually filled with sheep and goats, but that wasn't the case Tuesday afternoon.
Just outside our windows there, as we were getting stuff ready for the day, we looked out and there was probably 16 goats and sheep that just started walking by.
Chad Pickett and his coworkers spotted the livestock on 83rd Avenue heading towards Camelback and quickly went out to help.
So the three of us went out. Myself and Joel kind of got out there to stop traffic from going either way down 83rd here. And then the person that actually owns the land over there that the sheep and goats were on that were eating the foliage, he had just come by and he shot across the street in his pickup and that he was actually trying to herd them back this way as we were stopping the traffic from either way.
Glendale police showed up shortly after to help the owner herd the livestock back to the fenced property.
Watching them, just the police chase around this building here, the JT's pub, like that area and the gas station, they just kept going around in circles and finding new places to hide.
Bystanders on both sides of the street say they saw goats and sheep wandering around nearby businesses.
They were just herding them. They were trying to yell them back in the direction they needed to go.
And that worked?
Yeah, surprisingly well.
That's awesome.
I've been on that road. They just wanted to head up Camelback and go hiking.
Yeah,
that was their plan.
And nobody was letting them do that. Had to herd them back into their area.
When they returned, they were told they were all bad boys and girls.
Good Lord. All right. Well, hey, guess what? We'll be back with more right after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28. A missing Washington State boy is found in Jasper County, Missouri. According to the FBI, deputies found 8-year-old Breedson John of Vancouver, Washington, near Joplin on Friday. The boy was reported missing last summer after community members reported they had not seen him. Vancouver police said prosecutors charged the boy's grandparents with custodial interference. They are suspects in his disappearance. Child Protective Services officers from Washington are traveling to Missouri to get Breed and John. A skydiving incident at Adventure Skydiving Center in Sallisaw, Oklahoma leaves one woman dead. It happened on Saturday. Authorities responded to a report of a skydiver who had been injured in a solo skydive. They say 44-year-old Heather Glasgow of Poto, Oklahoma, struck the ground after an unknown issue during the skydive. Police say witnesses said her parachute fully deployed, but she was in a spin. She was pronounced dead that evening. Not only are we seeing an increase in gun sales in the 4 states, the Newton County Sheriff says there is an increase of marijuana possession with students in school. KOAM's Yana Tula talked with a Newton County Sheriff and a school district about what they are seeing.
Since the legalization of recreational marijuana in Missouri, some Newton County school resource officers are noticing more students with the substance.
It's getting to be more of a problem every day, especially since the law passed. At least the schools that are represented by my school resource officers have seen an increase.
Newton County Sheriff Chris Jennings says marijuana is not good for developing minds.
They actually will smell it burning in the schools, I believe. Just like kids used to smoke cigarettes in the bathroom, now they smoke marijuana in the bathroom, it seems like. It's not just the marijuana, it's the marijuana gummies. They're definitely noticing an increase.
Sheriff Jennings says SROs at Diamond and East Newton High Schools are reporting the most issues. Neosho school leaders say they haven't seen an uptick.
Any type of narcotics violation or drug violation, even marijuana, is still prohibited. So it typically results in discipline, and that's usually an out-of-school suspension of some type, the length of which will be determined on a case-by-case basis. Some type of treatment and monitoring may also be ordered.
Law enforcement may also turn children caught with marijuana over to juvenile authorities.
While it may be legal for adults, it's not legal for the kids in school, and it's creating a lot of bad atmosphere in schools, especially for the kids that aren't interested in that.
Schools are drug-free zones, and those caught with marijuana could face charges. In Newton County, Janna Haudala, KOAM News.
Students 18 and older caught with marijuana are referred to the Newton County Circuit Court. Juvenile cases go through the 40th Judicial Circuit. This morning,
we've got some showers and thunderstorms across the area. The good news is our severe threat has pretty well wound down across the region. Still dealing with some thunderstorms out there. We got some lightning up around the Carthage area. We've seen some still in Joplin, Neosho, and down by Pineville and into northwestern Arkansas as well. The only alerts we have are the wind advisories for northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas through 6 o'clock this evening. The severe threat has really been shifted out of the area. We still have a low-end tornado risk for the southeastern part of our viewing area, and we are still looking at the possibility of some of these storms intensifying a bit across the southeastern part of our area as well, with wind being the primary threat in terms of any severe weather. Taking a look at the future track, we've still got showers and thunderstorms to deal with as we go through the morning and to about noon, and then those will start to clear out. We're left with scattered showers across the region by 2, and then we are partly cloudy and looking fairly decent by about 4 o'clock. Looking at about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain in southeast Kansas and 1/2 inch to maybe 1 inch in parts of southwest Missouri. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. Rain continuing to fall in Joplin. Same from 7th in range line. We're 64. Thunderstorm in the area. Feels like 64. South breeze at 14 miles an hour. Temperatures across the region. 63 Iola, 65 Pittsburgh, 64 Miami, and 65 in Neosho. Again, we'll have those showers and thunderstorms through the morning. Gusty winds as well. Temperatures in the lower 60s. We've peaked with our highs this morning up in the upper 60s. The rain showers clear out. We're hovering in the lower 60s. As we go into this evening, northwest counties are going to be a little cooler than this evening as the cold air rushes in. We're all dropping back into the 30s for overnight lows tonight, and it's going to be chilly as we head into tomorrow, but we'll have more sunshine as well. We're going to have more on your forecast here in just a few more minutes, but first, we've got something to talk about this morning.
That's right. We are discussing the politics of abortion.
Kansas Attorney General Chris Kobach recently sent a letter to Walgreens warning them that sending abortion pills to Kansas through the mail would be in violation of Kansas law.
Earlier this year, the FDA finalized a rule change under the Biden administration allowing pharmacies to seek certification to dispense the abortion pill. CVS and Walgreens are two of the groups currently seeking that certification.
A Kansas law states it is mandatory for a doctor to be present whenever any abortion procedure or pill is administered. Recently, Kansas voted that abortion would remain constitutionally protected in the state. Which brings us to our question for you this morning. Should abortion pills be allowed through the mail? Yes or no? So far, 59% of you say they should not be, and 41% of you say that they should be. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Fashion trends come and go, and some stomp around in a big red pair of boots. Only Jeannie Moose would walk us down the runway in the latest fashion statement.
And of course, we're still tracking showers, thunderstorms, and some gusty winds out there. We'll have more on your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Well, one man in Independence, Kansas was told he may never walk again after battling an autoimmune disorder. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to him about how he beat the odds.
Brian Abbey woke up one morning feeling a little off. By the next day, he was unable to move.
Pain, like the numbness, and then it'd be tingling and muscle spasms. Like my feet would just, they still do, like at night when I lay down and just kick.
Brian was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder that took his ability to use his legs. This came out the blue to not only Brian, but also his family.
The first month or so of his sickness, it was pretty hard mentally and emotionally.
Due to this, Brian had to stop enjoying his passion for cornhole. And his kids noticed.
He used to play cornhole all the time, but whenever he was in the hospital, he couldn't, and he really loves to play it.
After being treated at Madonna Rehabilitation Hospital, Brian was back on his feet after 3 months. Doctors speculated that Brian would have never walked again.
It's been a struggle, but hey, you know what? I'm blessed. I started getting my movements, my toes first, then doing this, and basically, then I started pushing on a bike, and the next thing I did is start kicking my feet up. Just step by step.
This Tuesday night cornhole was special. Brian was able to hug some friends and sink in some beanbags.
They're so happy I'm here. They know tonight I'm here, and it's unreal. At first I didn't know what was going on. I had to learn how to live in a wheelchair.
As Brian returns to his passion for cornhole, he held his head up high with pride.
You can do anything. If they tell you got a chance, you just keep on fighting. And I'm going to tell you, God was on my hands, and I had so many people praying.
Reporting in Independence, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Now, Brian dedicates his speedy recovery to Madonna Rehabilitation Hospital's specialized equipment. We still have some showers and thunderstorms across the area that we're keeping an eye on. We'll take a look at your complete forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Some of the good news is our severe threat is really winding down across the area. We still have showers and thunderstorms across the region, with some lightning still being picked up along this line from Pineville, Neosho, Joplin, Carthage up to Greenfield. But again, the good news is our overall severe risk has dropped considerably. Wind advisories, northeast Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas through 6 this evening. You can see here where that severe threat has shifted significantly to our southeast. Still have a low-end tornado risk for the southeastern part of our viewing area, and we're still looking at that wind risk as well, with some of these storms coming in as they roll through northwestern Arkansas and into parts of our viewing area in southwest Missouri. But again, the good news is overall the threat has dropped significantly. Now we're still going to see showers and thunderstorms as we go through the morning and into about the noon hour, and then there's going to start to clear out. We're left with scattered showers by 2 and partly cloudy skies by about 4 o'clock. We got MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. Raining in Joplin, some lightning out there as well. Not looking too bad otherwise because we're just getting some good old-fashioned thunderstorms and some much-needed rain. I think it's the biggest side. Whether we had severe weather or not, the most important thing is we're getting much-needed rain. 64 in Joplin right now with a south breeze at 14. Still quite mild across the region as well. 61 Iola, 67 Parsons, 63 Miami, 64 Neosho, and 65 in Carthage. Going through the morning, showers, thunderstorms, still a possibility of strong strong storm or two not out of the question, but the severe threat is just about zero at this point. Temperatures hovering in the low 60s, and it will be breezy. We've peaked at our highs early this morning. We're otherwise going to be in the lower 60s, upper 50s, start to clear out by 4, and as we head into the evening, the winds will start to let up too. Some of us in the northwestern parts of our area are going to be a little cooler than this at 8 o'clock, but otherwise all of us eventually making it back down to the 30s for overnight lows under mostly clear skies. We're colder tomorrow, 44, but more sunshine. 25 tomorrow night, evening showers Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe translating into some morning thunderstorms on Monday. Keep an eye on those for you as well. 63 by Sunday, 56 on Monday, and 62 and decent looking on Tuesday of next week. That's Check Your Forecast. Now here's Tanya Bach with a Check Your Consumer Watch.
That's right. The Department of Transportation's internal watchdog says it's launching a probe into the spike in flight cancellations and delays in the wake of the pandemic. The Office of the Inspector General Audit will focus on the DOT's role in the cancellations rather than the airlines. The IG wants to identify the causes of the delays and cancellations, as well as check the accuracy of the government's data around flight disruptions. In a memo, the IG said more than 30,000 of the delayed and canceled flights were attributable to issues in the national airspace system, such as heavy traffic and air traffic control. Well, the long pause on federal student loan payments is set to end later this year, and that means millions of former students will have to begin or resume paying those student debt bills in just months. Moratorium on payments began under former President Trump in March of 2020 at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, and then President Biden continued it. Right now, it's possible student loan payments will not restart until August. When payments start back up, it will be the first time many former students have to pay their debt. It comes as we wait to see if President Biden's big student debt forgiveness plan survives legal challenges. U.S. home sales dropped in January for the 12th straight month as mortgage rates remained elevated and stubbornly high-priced kept buyers out of the market. It's the longest period of declining home sales on record, with records going back to 1999. It's also the weakest activity since 2010. According to the National Association of Realtors, existing home sales were down nearly 37% in January from a year ago. Higher interest rates were a big factor. Last January, the average rate for a fixed-rate mortgage was in the low to mid 3% range. This year, rates in January were nearly double that, in the low to mid 6% range. We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Let's go places.
Well, there's an eye-catching new trend in footwear. Actually, eye-popping might be a better term.
Yeah, see, their boots fit for a cartoon character, but designed for human feet. And big red boots are red hot.
Jeannie Moose reports on who's wearing them.
The big red boots are not the ones Nancy Sinatra had in mind.
These boots are made for walking.
Nope, these boots are made for flaunting. Fashion influencers are styling them.
It's a goofy shoe. I give them a 10 out of 10.
Even influencers of the grandpa generation. Wrestler Seth Rollins pretends stomped his opponent wearing big red boots. Ever since they went on sale for $350 and sold out in minutes, fashionistas can't shut up about the big red boots created by the art collective Mischief.
They do make you want to touch them.
Yeah.
YouTube sneakerhead Steve Natto found that out when he wore them to SneakerCon.
And some people ask to touch the shoes.
How do they feel? Well, the top part
Is flexible, but the bottom part is definitely not.
Steve says they're comfy. He wore them all day without pain. Their creator describes them as cartoonish. Some refer to them as Astro Boy boots. And though they're easy to put on, getting them off can get you stuck if you're not wearing your perfect size.
My foot got stuck, so I had to do what I had to do, man.
Now they're showing up on everyone from Puss in Big Red Boots to the character boots from Dora the Explorer to Tony Soprano paired with a bathrobe. People wanted to buy them right off Steve's feet offering.
I got like 800, 900, 1,000. I think I got like 13 or 1,400. They just kind of kept going up.
For now, they're the it shoe.
Are you ready, Boots?
They're not about to get the boot.
Start walking.
Jeannie Mose, CNN, New York.
Are those boots made for walking?
They say they are. You are wearing the perfect outfit. Now, imagine if Tanya was wearing those big red boots. I'm telling you, I think we'd be on to something.
I'd look like a... Who knows?
We could produce a whole line of Tanya Bach action figures with the big red boots and your big red power suit.
I don't know why my action figure knows karate, but
why not?
It does.
It's your action figure. It can know whatever it wants, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's see if there's a market.
Can you do
there.
high kicks and big red boots? Or do
Looked
they
like
weigh
you
you
could.
down
I
too
mean,
much?
they were wrestling in them, so I mean, why not? Why not? Yeah, see, exactly. You could go wrestle with them. Gabe, you better watch out. Tanya and her big red boots are coming.
I don't have any. I've got some red tennis shoes. My son has red shoes.
Well, they
he
need
bought a
some
pair
big
of
red
red
boots.
Nikes that he wears, and he wears them with his suit pants too. So, like, seriously, child.
So do I.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be comfy when you're standing.
But yours
all
aren't
day.
red.
No, and they will not be red anytime in the near future. However, we have seen some red on the radar with some heavier rain and thunderstorm activity. Got mostly yellows and oranges out there right now as we continue to watch this. The good news is, again, overall, our severe threat has pretty well fizzled out. I know some of you, like us in the weather department, we like severe weather. It's it's kind of exciting for us. We're a little disappointed, but for those of you who are not fans of severe weather, do not want those nasty storms, there's great news there. We have really calmed down. We still got showers, we've still got thunderstorms out there. We still have wind advisories, northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas through 6 o'clock. The overall severe risk shifted well to our southeast. We still have some areas in a very low tornado risk. The hail risk is all but gone. The biggest threat still is looking to be wind with some of these storms coming through northwest Arkansas, but I think overall the main threat is gone. Now we'll still deal with these showers and thunderstorms through the morning and into about the noon to 1 o'clock hour, and then they'll start to kick on out of here and leave us pretty well dry and nice. Rain falling, 32nd in range line, same at 7th in range line. We're sitting at 64 in Joplin with a south breeze at 14. Across the region, it looks about like this. We've got 61 in Iola, 64 Chetopa, 63 Miami, and 64 Neosho. As we go through the rest of our morning, showers, thunderstorms, gusty winds, lower 60s for the most part. We peaked at our highs early this morning. We're going to be in the lower 60s, and we get pretty darn chilly heading into tomorrow. We'll take another look at your forecast when we come back.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities respond to an apartment fire in the Northern Heights neighborhood of Joplin. Just before 7 a.m. Tuesday morning, the Joplin Fire Department, Joplin Police Department, and Met's ambulance responded to reports of a structure fire. Authorities reported seeing visible smoke. No one was inside the apartment. The cause of the fire is under investigation. A tractor trailer hauling grain overturns near the Missouri-Kansas state line just before 7 a.m. Tuesday morning. Authorities received reports of a crash involving a semi along Missouri 171 near Redbud Road. Asbury Fire Department, Jasper County Sheriff's deputies, and the Met's ambulance responded. Highway Patrol was also notified. Troopers say a southbound semi traveled into oncoming traffic, clipped a pickup truck, crashed onto the east side of the road and overturned. The grain it was hauling spilled out in the field. And a 7-year-old girl is fighting for her life in New York City after she was stabbed multiple times. Police say at the hands of her own grandmother. Officers found the girl on her bed with multiple stab wounds to her neck, stomach, and back. She was rushed to a hospital where she remains in critical but stable condition. Grandmother is in custody. She is undergoing a psychiatric evaluation at a hospital. No charges have been filed at this time.
And we have got the showers and thunderstorms this morning, holding on till about the noon hour, then they'll start to clear out. We've hit our highs early. We're otherwise going to be in the lower 60s and breezy. Winds will start to calm down later this evening. We'll start to cool down as well. Mostly clear skies. Our friends in our northwestern counties probably going to be a little cooler than that by 8 o'clock. All of us dropping back into the 30s. Colder but sunny tomorrow as we look at a high of 44, 25 tomorrow night. Evening showers Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then maybe some morning thunderstorms on Monday. Temperatures start to warm back up through the weekend.
And did you think the liquor was going to stop flowing just because Fat Tuesday is over? Well, think again.
Now, today marks National Margarita Day. After a Mardi Gras season full of symbols and tradition, National Margarita Day is refreshingly simple. Drink a margarita.
Yeah.
That's it.
What was he pouring in that glass? It was definitely not a margarita.
I didn't happen to notice, but I'll take you.
These days, you look like pina colada. These days, you have plenty of options to choose from beyond the traditional lime flavor. Check out your favorite watering hole to see if they're offering margarita specials. Mexican restaurants may be your best bet.
Yeah.
We make margaritas too.
So, excellent opportunity to celebrate and maybe kick back and relax. Because I don't know about anybody else, but it's been a long morning. There's been a long morning, but we'll continue to track these showers and thunderstorms through the morning as well, and we'll have the latest on our weather and the changes on the way when we see you again at noon. So thanks so much for letting us put the good in your morning. As I mentioned, we'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.